Did Dead City just give us the best Walking Dead trailer in years? Between callbacks to the original series, the stunning Manhattan scenery, and hints that civilization might finally be turning a corner, this trailer has us more excited than ever for the new season. Let's get into everything you might have missed. If these clues mean what we think they mean, Dead City might be setting up something much bigger than just Maggie and Negan's story. Let us know what you caught in the trailer, and if you're excited for the future of the Walking Dead universe. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next breakdown.
Let's talk about New York City, because the trailer spends a surprising amount of time highlighting the city itself and what it represents.
Yeah, and I think it starts with that Statue of Liberty, decayed, missing the nose, looking like a walker, and kind of being very reflective of the city itself because it is infested with walkers. But we also see the return of the ziplines.
Yeah, and I feel like when they were marketing Dead City from the beginning, it was such a big part of it. Like, they get around using the zip lines. And we only saw it a handful of times, so I was actually surprised to see it in the trailer so much.
Yeah, and I think overall, and as we'll get into, there was a lot more about people and how they're going to live versus trying to survive. We saw, them continuously talking about creating a community and zip lines and transportation. Those are kind of things that would be involved with it. So it was really nice to see, as well as Central Park.
Yeah, it still looks so beautiful compared to the rest of the city. So it was nice to see that view of it. Even some of the buildings as well, like just seeing how they've aged and over time.
And Dead City's done a really good job of trying to get into, the life of New York City as well, because, we kind of saw with them trying to turn on the lights, they were really highlighting, how New York used to be lit up in the middle of the night and, the nightlife and all of that kind of stuff. We also saw, the moving truck. They pull up the back door of the moving truck, and that feels like classic New York City. We also saw the fire department. They were wearing, the fire hats and using an axe to break into a building. Just some things that feel very New York City, but very New Yorker, the person.
Yeah.
Right? Let's talk about Maggie and Negan, because some of the most interesting moments in this trailer seem to revolve around how their relationship continues to change.
We saw at the end of last season that there was almost like a reluctant truce. Maggie had the opportunity to kill Negan, and she didn't. So we kind of knew coming into this season that we might see a brand new relationship between the two of them. But I think I was taken aback with how jovial it was and how willing they were to work with each other.
Yeah, because I think the fundamental issue with Dead City has been the relationship between Negan and Maggie, because it has felt really like there was a roadblock. How can you ever get past Negan killing Glenn? It just feels as though you can't. But that constant butting of heads and that constant hatred towards each other kind of became exhausting.
Yeah.
And I think we were looking for a way to move past it, and her kind of realizing that she just can't kill him.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be the way. And I think for this season to really kind of have them on better terms will be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. But still shocking to see Maggie essentially saying, Negan, we need you. And Negan to respond with, I would fight for you, I would kill for you. I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, we've definitely seen him trying to kind of earn that forgiveness over the last couple seasons, and we've seen him kind of fighting and trying to maybe absolve himself of the guilt a little bit. But to see them working towards something not out of necessity, because Maggie was working with Negan in order to get Herschel or to find Herschel. And so for her now to be looking to build a community and choosing him to build it with or to get closer to that goal really shows a big change in how they're going to be interacting with each other, because that's by choice.
Yeah. And with that big change, I also felt like they were kind of ceding pieces of the history in that trailer. So, for example, we saw there was a line where Maggie said, "I know I can be a leader." And I was just picturing her on Hilltop talking to Rick about her studying to be a leader there. So I thought it was cool that they were calling back.
Yeah, and we even saw at the end of last season, Negan kind of going back to that old Negan that we saw in the original Walking Dead, getting back Lucille and kind of that fun demeanor he has when he's kind of doing those wrong things. We saw it in the trailer where he's saying, "Let's play a game," and that's classic Negan, little pig, let me in, right? So I think it'll be really cool to kind of see that dynamic, to see the two of them interact with them having some of those older traits that they had in the original show that kind of made us love them.
Yeah. I am still rooting and hoping that it truly is a new leaf for them, though.
I'm sure they'll have their setbacks, especially with Herschel and him having such strong feelings about Negan as well, and Maggie.
Yeah. Let's talk about the characters, because this trailer seems to be striking that balance between familiar faces from previous seasons and some new additions shaping the future of the story.
Yeah, and I think we saw the Croat, we saw the Dama, and New Babylon are all still going to be there. That is 3 opposing forces all trying to take New York City for themselves.
Yeah, but I really loved the new characters that we saw. So I saw there's a girl there with a katana. I read somewhere that her name is Renata with a katana. Hey, I love it. But we haven't really seen many characters with a katana outside of...
I love a specific weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved on Fear the Walking Dead when Alicia had the heat flashing from a rifle as her weapon.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. Michonne with the katana. There's always a story behind how they acquire that, and it's one of my favorite parts of the Walking Dead universe. So I hope we get to see how she got that, because it's always really cool when they have something special.
Do we think Renata knows Michonne?
I think that would be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool, because who else has a katana?
Yeah, I think it would be really cool. They'll have to explain why, in my opinion. And the other really cool character was the one that seems like he'll be spending a lot of time with Negan.
Yeah.
Didn't get a name, but they meet at like a bar, and he definitely seems like some comedic relief, maybe a bit of a nuisance to Negan.
Yeah. He's definitely got a personality, probably has been alone for a while, because we even saw where he was mumbling to a walker and Negan's like, "Don't keep pretending like you can talk to them." And I can't wait to see that scene, because keep in mind, that's happening well after the Whisperer arc.
Yeah, and Negan knew that is a possibility, and how, that obviously caught everyone off guard in the original Walking Dead. But it is always so cool to see these characters that we know over a decade's worth of their history, to meet new faces, and the shock that they must be to be like, "What do you mean people wore faces, the dead faces of people?" So I definitely think they'll be an interesting one to see as well.
Yeah.
Finally, I think one of the biggest feelings this trailer leaves us with is hope. Despite everything these characters have been through, there are a lot of signs in this trailer that things might finally be looking up.
Yeah, Maggie even says, we've got weapons, we've got food, we've got power. It all seems like they've got the makings to rebuild the future.
Yeah, and I mean, over the last few seasons, one of the things that really set Dead City apart was the way they're using the walkers as fuel for electricity. And this idea of bringing New York City back to life and lighting it up, it seems like that's the natural end to this story, would be to actually light it up and see and make a community out of it. You hear her talking about how we need to clear out the walkers in order to do that. So you can see this view of, this is my goal, we're going to recreate the community, and that is classic Walking Dead. Rick wanted to create a community and a future for Carl and Judith, and that sense of hope brings purpose to the whole show that I think was kind of missing from Dead City.
Yeah. And there's a scene in the trailer that I loved between Maggie and Herschel where they're looking out over, I think it's Central Park, that view. And it just feels like the whole world is at their fingertips. And the fact that they have the fuel figured out, I think, is a nice evolvement for the universe, because we did see in Fear the Walking Dead with Luciana when she was refining the oil, but they didn't really have the means to put it to the best use.
Yeah, and to expand it. And when you think about it, I mean, the world is all about resources. The dead would be a huge resource on Earth that would be beneficial for you to get rid of.
Yeah.
And if you can turn that into something beneficial like electricity and power and what that could mean for, cars and lights and electricity, has a bigger implication for the universe as a whole.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with the hints that we've been kind of getting of maybe an Avengers style final gathering for The Walking Dead and bringing back Rick and Daryl and Negan and Maggie and Michonne all together. This feels like that could be a huge thing that the Dead City would be bringing to that Avengers style.
I think it would also help tie it into that universe, because with the CRM, we know they're not completely disbanded. And in the last recording that we heard at the end of The Ones Who Live, they mentioned that they're looking for those communities. What community is going to get their attention more than Manhattan City lit right up?
Yeah, and it feels like classic storytelling that they would all go on their separate journeys and bring back their learnings to fight this final battle together. Rick learned a ton about the CRM, was part of them, and kind of fully infiltrated. Daryl and everything that's going on over there was kind of discovering the possibility of a cure, which is universe changing and kind of that overall goal everyone has in society. And Dead City is giving you a means to have community on a wide scale with electricity. And it just feels like it would be these perfect blocks moving into place for that Avengers style series or movie, or I'll take anything.
Yeah, at this point, we'll take anything. And hopefully that's why they haven't really announced firm plans for 2027, is because they are planning to bring them all together.
And it just feels like you have to. What do you mean Rick came back and he's not dead? And we need to see everyone's reaction.
Yeah. Daryl doesn't know that Rick is there, but the time in Dead City is so far out from Daryl Dixon and The Walking Dead. He has to know at this time, right?
You would think so, but they've been so intentionally vague about the timelines that I feel like maybe there's a way they can kind of retcon that a bit, or figure out a way to make it all work together, because it just feels like this is all heading somewhere and I want to know where it's heading, but I kind of hope it's heading back together.
And that's a topic we could talk about for hours, I feel like.
100%.
So we might have to do a separate video on this one.
Yeah. Let us know if you'd like to see that. After years of survival, loss, and impossible choices, this trailer reminds us that The Walking Dead has always been about hope. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like the future might finally be bright. Not just for Manhattan, but for the entire world. What did you think of the trailer? Drop your theories in the comments, and if you're excited for the new season, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll have plenty more Dead City coverage coming your way. Until then, we'll see you in the next breakdown. Talk to you soon. Bye.